Good evening, guys. Before we start today's session, one quick update, guys. This is the list of companies which are having performance testing openings currently. So, I have started collecting this information from the past 2 months, and the number of companies which are having performance testing openings, in our list, right? It is close to 1,000 now. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you the total number of companies that we companies information that we collected. Yeah. So if you see here, it is close to 950. Okay. There are some more companies that I need to update into the sheet. So I'll update it today. Right. But there are nine, the complete this is not an exhaustive list, right? So there will be a lot more companies which will be having performance testing openings. But these are the companies that are having PT openings currently. Okay. All right. Now, this is your batch tracker sheet, right? So let me share, this is your batch tracker sheet. And any new joinees today? I saw one new joinee, Chinmaya. And any other new joinees, guys? Apart from Chinmaya? Okay. No, I don't see any new joinees, at least in. All right. So, all right, guys. So where did we stop yesterday?
HTTP
Get and post.
request method.
Right. We were discussing post method, isn't it? So post method is not yet completed yesterday. So we'll try to complete this, the remaining 4 methods. But yesterday we discussed about get and post, isn't it? And what else did we discuss? And did I upload the yesterday's recorded session?
No, sir.
I remember that I had uploaded it yesterday.
No, sir. Today's recordings are not uploaded.
No, man. So here you see. Oh, okay. This is uploaded as private video. Okay. That's why you might not have got that. So HTTP methods get and post. Yes, this is yesterday's session. So 7th session was missing, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'll upload that, upload 7th and today's session immediately after today's session. Okay.
And give to access.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Now let us continue, okay. Before we start today's session, shall we have a quick assessment on the previous day concepts?
Okay.
Okay. So what are the different request methods, first of all?
Get to
Get,
post,
put,
put
post,
to delete.
Put to delete.
Delete.
Right. Now, Madhavi, so what is the difference between, what is a get method first?
Get method is an HTTP method used for retrieving the data.
Right. So what is post method? When is a post method used?
Post method is used to send data or
to create
receive
an update.
to create an update.
Right. So what are the characteristics of a get method? Let me ask selected people. Do you have Teja today? What are the characteristics of a get method? Okay, Teja did not join. Vinod?
Hello.
Yeah, Vinod. We are able to hear you. What are the characteristics of a get method? We discussed some characteristics of a get method, right? Yes.
Yeah, we get the data from server.
Okay. What are the other characteristics? We discussed some characteristics, right? Like get request can be cached.
Saved in bookmarks.
Right. Get request can be cached. Get request can be bookmarked. And do they have any restrictions on the data length?
Identify the listing key features.
What is that?
Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Ashwin?
Sir,
Ashwin, did you join yesterday?
yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. What are the characteristics of a get method?
Sir, get method is synchronous call.
Get method is a synchronous call. Who told that? Did I mention
I'm
that
thinking
yesterday?
also. Mm-hmm.
Did I mention it yesterday? Or did we discuss that synchronous and asynchronous concept?
I
No,
don't know,
sir.
sir. I was thinking it's like that.
Okay. What are the
Get
characteristics of a get method, Abdul?
సార్ నాకు ఒక 2 తెలుసు చెప్పనా సార్?
Yeah, please.
అది గెట్ మెథడ్ అనేది బ్రౌజర్ హిస్టరీలో ఉంటది సార్. ఎందుకంటే మనం గెట్ అనేది ఏదన్నా సెర్చ్ చేస్తే దాన్ని గెట్ అంటాము. లేకపోతే ఏదైనా అప్డేట్ చేస్తే పోస్ట్ అంటాం కాబట్టి గెట్ మెథడ్ అనేది బ్రౌజర్ హిస్టరీలో ఉంటది. అట్లాగే క్యాషే కూడా రికార్డ్ అయ్యి ఉంటది సార్ గెట్ మెథడ్‌కి. అంతే
Right.
సార్. ఆ 2
Hi,
Right.
sir.
So
Get
get methods are, yeah.
Can I say
Please go.
something? Get
Yeah,
method is
please.
used to get the data from the server.
Right.
First thing, and the
Hmm.
second thing is we can save in the cache, and we can bookmark our
No,
get methods.
no, it's not that we can save, but it will be automatically cached. Okay.
Yeah,
It
automatically in
will
the
be
cache.
automatically cached. It will be stored in the browser history automatically. It's not that we can save or we can store it in the cache. Right. And yeah.
As
Coming
get
to
method request have length restriction.
Right.
nearly
2048.
2400. Yeah, 204.
Right.
Characters.
Get request have restrictions on the character length or the length of the size. The size, it has some length restrictions.
And
It is
cannot
limited
be
to
used to
2048 characters. Right.
sensitive data or
Whatever
sensitive.
we give in the get method, it will show in the URL names
Right.
and I think
Right.
value keys and
Right. Right.
Why
The
this
query
thing?
string or name
Why
value
this
pairs are sent in the URL of a get request. Okay.
is the
Now what
reason
is
why we don't use these
at login step, etc. Right. Developers will not use this at login or submitting a form, etc. because the query string will be displayed, will be sent in the URL of a get request. Right. So these are the characteristics of a get method. Now coming to post method, post methods, like I already explained, this post method is used to send or submit data to the server. And post requests are never cached. They will not be stored in the cache. They do not remain in the browser history. They can't be bookmarked, right? But they don't have any restrictions on the data length. Post requests don't have any restrictions on the data length, right? So these are the characteristics of a post method. Okay. I saw one new. Someone joined just now. Okay. I think old joining only already. Right. So what these are the characteristics of a post method. Post requests are never cached. They don't remain in the browser history. Right. Post requests can't be bookmarked. And however, post requests have no restrictions on the data length like get method. Okay. And now I'll go to the next method, which is where post method is used. Yesterday we had discussed multiple scenarios where post method will be used by the developers, isn't it? Now let me go to the next method, next slide, which is on put method. Put method is used to send data to a server to create or update a resource, right? Now this also sounds like post method, right? Post method is also used to send data to create or update a resource, right? Put method is also used to send data to a server to create or update a resource, isn't it? Right. So, but then what is the difference between these two is put method is used for update operations and post method is recommended to use for create operations. Okay. That is the main difference. One second. Let me open your class notes document. Right. So what is the definition, theoretically the definition for post and put is same. However, there is a difference that, put method is generally recommended for update operations. Post is for create operations. Clear, everyone? So when you log into an application, right? When you create an account, right? And you are submitting credentials, post method will be used. but put method will be used for update operations. Suppose you want to update an existing data on the server, then put method is used. Okay, so that is the main difference. And then next method is delete method. Delete method deletes the specified resource. The delete method deletes the specified resource, right? As the name implies. And when what is patch method? Patch method will be used to update. Again, here we mentioned put for update, right? But again, why do we have a separate method, patch method for update operations is, see, suppose if you want to update multiple fields in a database, if you want to update multiple fields, right? Then a put method will be used. But patch method will be used if you want to update only a particular field in the database. Right? Patch method will be used to update only a particular field in the database. Now, how many of you have this, database concepts? How many of you are already having, DB concepts, idea on DB concepts? Database concepts or SQL concepts. No one?
Yeah,
Hey,
I have the
definitely
idea.
there will be few people. Huh?
Learning SQL currently.
Okay. You started, Vijay? Did you start
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Okay. And anyone else?
SQL.
Yeah, I have the idea.
Okay. So I'm just noting down the names, who all are having database knowledge. Okay. Krishna, Vijay, anyone else?
Saidhar.
Sai, Tarun. Next. That's it.
I have, sir, basic knowledge.
Yeah, basic knowledge, is what expected for performance engineers. You need not be an expert in SQL concepts. So, but minimum basic knowledge is enough. Okay. So we have only 4 guys, who are already having, SQL concept knowledge or hands-on on SQL concepts, database concepts. Now, how about the others, right? Those who are from non-IT background or those who don't have any, experience or on database concepts, right? So if you want to learn them, it is mandatory, guys. For any testing, it is mandatory, whether it is functional or automation, performance, security. You need to have some basic knowledge on SQL, right? So now, for that, how to learn. For others, how to learn is you don't need to join any other course. You see, you can simply go to W3 schools. Everyone knows this website, right? Most
Yes,
of you, I
Praveen.
believe, most
Yes.
of you know this website, isn't it? Go to w3schools.com and click on SQL and go through these tutorials. So these are self-learning tutorials, very easy to understand, and it will be point to point. You will not have, pages of theory part, right? It will be point to point. SQL is a standard language for storing, manipulating, and retrieving data in the database, right? And then examples, right? So and then so go to each chapter and try to learn try to complete at least 1 chapter per day. That is enough. Okay, you need not complete all those in 1 or 2 days, but please complete one lesson per day. And now wonderful thing with this is, if you want to practice these queries, you need not install SQL database or any SQL database initially itself. First learn these basic concepts, and then without installing database, even without installing SQL on your machine, you can use this you can use this website to run the queries. Observe here, select star from customers. What does it mean? Wait, let me ask, like select star profile, select star. What is meant by select star from customers?
Sir, it will check, I think, the customer column and it will select all the options, I think,
It
all
will
the values.
Not
fetch
With
the
the
data
data.
It is table,
It
I
will
think.
show customer
Customer
table.
right. Customers is a
from
table
table.
here. Okay, not column, but customers is a table. You see here,
All the
on the
data.
right side, you have some tables like customers categories, employees table, order details, orders, products, etc. And each table is having these many number of records, right? Now, when you say select star from customers, this statement, this SQL query will fetch all the records from the customer table. You just click on that run SQL and you can see all those 91 records. You can see that all the 91 records in that customer tables were fetched and displayed here, isn't it? So similarly, suppose if you want to try employees table, so simply like type employees here and click on run SQL. right? And you got 10 records from employees table because it has only 10. And then you have order details table or orders table. Let's say, for example, like just modify this. Select star means star means, all the records. Star is a wild character here, right? You know that, right? So star is used as a wild character. So here, select star from customers or select star from orders means get all the, records from that particular table, right? And run SQL and you can see that, all the 196 records got fetched here, right? So without installing anything on your machine, we are able to practice some SQL queries using this, we'll be able to do that, with the help of this website, w3schools.com. Wonderful website, free website, no need to pay anything for anyone, right? So please, start learning these SQL concepts. Okay. And did I give an assignment anytime before on this in the Google Classroom? Yeah, I'll add.
Previously,
No,
you
sir.
had told one site.
Okay, I had just mentioned that. Okay. Right. So this is your Google Classroom, right? So I'll give an assignment today. Before that, I need to add everyone who paid fees and confirm their joining here. I still did not add everyone. So I'll add all of them, like those who paid fees and confirm their joining, and I will share I'll give assignments. Okay. And please remember that if you learn these SQL queries, you can demand at least 1 to 2 lakhs more package than others. Okay. Or, 1 to 2 lakhs more package than they offer. You can say, like, if they question that, like you can say that I'm good in SQL, I'm good in Linux commands, right? And, like, I'll make you install SQL database on your machine, by the way. Okay. Not now, but after 20 days, 15 to 20 days, I'll make you install SQL database on your machine and, some database tools. I will also give you some practice on database tools like dbeaver, okay, like every batch. So we have some database tools and which are used widely in the industry, right? So dbeaver is one universal database tool. So I will do that later, but for now, go through the understand this theory part, right? And practice this, okay? And you have some exercises also. After each lesson, you have some exercises also, isn't it? Which SQL statement is used to select all records from a table named customers? Yes, wonderful, right? You have some exercises. You have some lab. You can do lab by like go to try it yourself by clicking on try it yourself. You have some quiz, right? Start SQL quiz. Wonderful, right? Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
Yes, Paul.
Okay. And if you want to install database server, yes, you can do that. You can click on this, get your own SQL server, but I'll do that. I'll make you do that later on. No rush for that. But and one more thing, you need not learn all these lessons. You need not learn all these lessons. Don't worry. The first 15 lessons are enough, more than enough. The first 15 lessons are more than enough. And like hardly it will take 15 to 20 minutes per day, per lesson. Okay. But you can demand, but don't forget to, demand 1 to 2 lakhs more package than others. Okay. Once you clear the interview, by the way. Okay. All right. Now, W3 Schools, was a wonderful website for learning, SQL as well as Java or PHP. There are a lot of tutorials, self-learning tutorials over here, right? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right? If you learn JavaScript is easy. You can learn in hardly, 1 week is more than enough for JavaScript. Again, you need not be an expert. We are not developers, right? You need not learn all these lessons. First 10 lessons are enough. Clear, guys? Okay. And JavaScript will be very easy to learn, very fun to learn, really very fun to learn or easy to learn. Okay. So start with SQL today. Today or tomorrow, please start with SQL, learning SQL. Every one of you. Okay. All right. I'll take a pause here. Any queries?
No,
Okay. Now let us go back to our slides. Okay. So patch method, when patch method will be used, it will be used to update only a particular field in the database. For example, you maybe your password might have, see, for real-time applications, your password will be expiring for every 6 months or 3 months, isn't it? For most of the real-time applications, Your password will be expiring for every 3 months or 6 months. And now let's say you are trying to update your password, right? Then this patch method will be used by the developer in the backend, right? Developers will be using that patch method for updating password only. Password are only a particular field. Suppose you want to update only a particular field, or let's say, for example, you want to update your mail ID alone, or you want to update your contact number alone, right? Then a patch method will be used. But if you want to update your address, like address like um, uh, area, city, or state, right? If you want to update address, there will be multiple columns, right? Multiple fields, right? Your house number, or street number, and locality, and then city, state, pin code, right? Then a put method will be used. If you want to update multiple fields in a database, put method will be used. Patch method will be used if you want to update only a particular field in the database, only email or only password or only phone number, etc., etc. Clear about it, guys? What is patch method, what is put, and what is delete?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let us move to, let's move to the next slide. So Chinmay, are you able to follow? There is not much dependency between for dependency for of today's session on the previous concepts. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so if you want to follow this, if you are not, if you are unable to understand because you joined today only, so here is the playlist URL for this batch. So you can start, all these sessions are demo sessions. You need not pay any fees for that. You can start from to watch this. So please start from um, 1 second. I'll give you where you should start. Please start from April 23rd session. April 23rd session. If you start from April 23rd session, right? So we have a weekend, right? Tomorrow and after tomorrow. Tomorrow and after tomorrow, we will not have classes. So if you can utilize this weekend, if you want, like just go through the demo session, whether you join or not. So first watch the demo session, which I shared you on WhatsApp already, right? And then, you can start from April 23rd. Okay. So all these sessions, it will take hardly, 5 hours, not more than that. So please allocate some 2 to 3 hours per day, tomorrow and after tomorrow, and you'll be able to complete, this over the weekend. And luckily you joined today. As you joined today, like you have ample time to go through these recorded sessions, and you'll be on the same page from Monday onwards if you complete all of them, but on this weekend.
Yeah.
All right. Now let me go to the slide. Yeah. So now let us understand request structure and response structure. All right. What is a request? We had already discussed what is HTTPS request and what is response, isn't it? Anyways, I'll repeat it again. So suppose if you are typing Amazon.in, right? I'll open developer tools. Okay. And I'm hitting the URL. I am sending a request to Amazon server by typing Amazon.in, right? This is your request. We had sent a request from the browser in the address bar. This is called as address bar, right? So this part of the browser is called as address bar. This whole part of the browser is called as address bar, isn't it? Now here, we entered, we have sent a request to Amazon server. The request that we had sent is the request URL that we had sent is Amazon.in, isn't it? 1 second. 1 second. So let me show that in the developer tools. Okay. Let me show that in the developer tools. What happened? Pressure log is there, but it is not storing. All right. Let me close this and let me open a private browser. Okay. So let's say I'll clear the drawings. I'll open developer tools and type Amazon.in. Can everyone please open developer tools? There are some settings that you need to do. I'll make you do that. Can you please open developer tools in your browser? I hope everyone is joining through a laptop or a desktop, but not mobile. Or is there anyone still joining through mobile? Guys, there will be 500 fees discount to those who are joining through mobile today, who joined through mobile today. Now who all are joining through mobile?
That's
Oh.
good idea.
All right. So
Okay,
if,
sir.
okay.
From tomorrow onwards, we will join on mobile, sir.
No, no, then there will be 500 fine from tomorrow onwards if you join through mobile. So please join from laptop, guys. So please join from laptop, okay? Going forward, if anyone is joining through mobile. Okay. Now, can you please open developer tools, everyone? Open a browser and how to open developer tools? Hit F12 on your keyboard. Okay. What is developer tools, by the way? What is developer tools, by the way?
Inspection.
Developer options to check fields,
Check for
coding,
how
code.
many requests.
Okay. Let us ask ChatGPT. Okay. What is everyone having an account with ChatGPT? Otherwise, please create an account. Please create an account and start using ChatGPT. Okay. Or use Copilot, Microsoft Copilot on your system. Anything is fine, right? So either use ChatGPT or use Microsoft Copilot. Yesterday we had discussed about Copilot, right? And I asked everyone to start using this Copilot already. Okay. Today we'll use ChatGPT. So what is developer tools in browser? I'm asking ChatGPT what is developer tools in a browser. Okay, every browser comes with by default it will comes with these developer tools or dev tools, right? What is that? It is a set of built-in tools that help developers inspect, debug, and optimize websites or web applications directly within the browser. They are essential for web development and troubleshooting, right? And you have different tabs in developer tools, right? And clear as we have elements tab, console, network, sources, performance tab, etc. Tab are panel, okay, application, security, lighthouse, etc. Right, let me show you all those. So these are what they are talking about. Okay, you see that we have one second, one second. So this is what ChatGPT is talking about. You have elements panel, console panel, sources panel, network panel, performance, memory, application, etc. And where is lighthouse? There is something called lighthouse over here. If you click on that, like you will have something called lighthouse. Okay, so performance test engineers will be using this network and lighthouse. We'll be mostly using this network tab or network panel and lighthouse panel. Okay. So what is developer tools, guys? Developer tools often called dev tools in a browser are a set of built-in tools that help developers inspect, debug, and optimize websites or web applications directly within the browser. They are essential for web development and troubleshooting. And how to launch that? Any browser, whether it is Chrome browser or Edge browser. Let me show that in Edge browser. I'm launching Edge browser, and let me show you quickly how to launch developer tools. Right? F12 is the standard shortcut function. F12 is the standard shortcut for launching developer tools. If it doesn't work, okay, you have it right. So, select remember by addition and click on open dev tools. Now here is your developer tools. Now, right? Here is your developer tools, and you'll, whatever browser you open this developer tools, you'll have elements, console, sources, network, performance, all these tabs are common. As a performance engineer, we will be using network tab. And what is the other tab that we'll be using? Lighthouse. Please remember this for now. This is enough. We'll discuss, what is network tab used for, what is lighthouse tab used for. We'll discuss it going forward. Okay. So I'll write it down here. This for any browser, this is the shortcut. F12 function F12 is the shortcut. Okay. And we will be using network tab or panel. Okay. They are calling it as panel. Let's also call it as panel. Network panel and lighthouse panel.
Sir,
Or tab. I prefer to call it as tab. Yeah. Or most of the people call it as network tab, lighthouse tab, etc. Yeah. Any queries?
sir, yes, in my laptop I had tried that, but whenever I press F12, aeroplane mode starts. So I
With the
right click
function.
and select.
No, function
Function plus
F12.
F12.
So,
Control
Function
Shift
plus-
I.
Okay.
Control Shift I is another shortcut. Okay. F12 or Control Shift I. Use whatever you are comfortable with. Control Shift plus I.
Write function plus F12, so then no one will confuse.
Okay. I mentioned it. I called it as function F12, but yeah. Okay. Now, any browser comes with the developer tools, any browser, whether it is Edge or Chrome or Firefox, right? So let me show you that in Firefox as well. Firefox also, you can open a Firefox browser and function F12, click function F12 on your keyboard, and these developer tools will be opened. And again, you have all these inspector, console, debugger, networks, right? The tabs name may change slightly. See, Chrome call it as inspect, but here it is called as inspector. That's it. The slight differences in the terminology, right? But you'll have all these tabs, all the tabs in all the browsers. Clear, guys?
What about light?
What is it? Lighthouse, we'll discuss it later. Okay. We'll be mostly using network tab. So that is important. That is network tab is important one. So, but Lighthouse tab, we'll discuss it in the last 1 week. Not important or not required at this moment. Okay. Now what are we discussing? Yeah. So you are sending a request now. I'll go to network tab. And once you are in this tab, right, select this preserve log. So this is what I wanted to, everyone to open this developer tools in your browser. Select preserve log. Otherwise, what happens is if we don't select this, what happens is suppose there are hundreds of requests. For example, Amazon will have 300 plus requests. When you access homepage of Amazon, homepage itself will have 300 sub requests. Okay, so once it crosses a limit, right, the request will be overwritten. But if you select preserve log, there the request will not be overwritten. See, observe here. I'm seeing the first request. I'm still seeing the first request. Do you see that here? Or else wait. I am supposed to use a new window, not a private browser. Okay, because if I use a private browser, it is asking for login. I want to directly go to that Amazon homepage. Okay, and now observe here, there will be 300 plus requests. Okay, there will be 300 plus requests, right? Okay, now you see 302. You see that at the bottom of the screen, it is showing 303 requests. And now, where is our main request? What is the main request that we had sent? Amazon.in, isn't it? And now if you see this, the request URL is https amazon.in. And the request method is a get method. Status code is 200. Okay. Tomorrow we'll discuss, our next session we'll discuss these different status codes. All right. In the next session we'll discuss status codes. Today I'm trying to complete request structure and response structure. Okay. I'll try to complete request structure and response structure if time permits. Otherwise I will complete only request structure. Now what are we discussing? We are discussing the HTTP or HTTPS request structure. When you are sending a request from browser to server, what does that request contain? As simple as that. That is called as request structure. Okay. A request structure consists of 3 parts. One is request line, then request headers, and then request body. These are the 3 parts in a request structure. So similarly, response also will contain 3 parts: status line, response headers, response body. Okay. We'll discuss that tomorrow, or after completing this request structure, right? Now coming back to this HTTP or HTTPS, HTTP or HTTPS, need not be only HTTP. It is either HTTP or HTTPS. Request structure consists of 3 parts. One is request line, request headers, request body. Now, what does your request line? What is the meaning of request line is? It will contain, or it will tell you what is the method token, request URI or URL, and protocol. And it looks something like this. It looks something like this. Your request line looks something like this. Okay, google.co.in or amazon.in or webtours index.htm followed by the protocol and version, right? A request line consists of method token, request URL and protocol. And if you want to see that, you can open developer tools and you can see that over here, right? So developer tools, 1 second. It is not showing the protocol, right? And the tool, I'll show you that. Once we start the JMeter tool, I'll show you that. Okay, where those details will be there. But your request will contain this request URL. You can see that URL over here, isn't it? And then the request method is also there. Only protocol is missing here, isn't it? Yes or no, guys?
Yes, sir.
And see, here is
Protocol
the protocol.
is nothing
HTTPS.
but
HTTPS.
In the request URL, this is protocol, right? HTTPS Amazon.in protocol version is missing. That's what I mean to say. Okay. So, but but the protocol here is HTTPS followed by this is the request URL and this is the request method, right?
Sir, one
Protocol
more
version is missing.
Amazon.in is also there below that. You have selected www.amazon.in.
Correct. Yes. Yes. So, see, this is, this, yeah, anything is fine. You can look into any of those to understand the, request structure. Now, this is one thing. Apart from that, you have request headers. See the next part, which is request headers. Do you see that request headers over here? Right? Do you see that request headers over here? So that is the second part in request structure. And what is the third part?
Request body.
Request body.
Request body.
Where can we see the request body? There is no request body here for this particular URL. There is no request body, isn't it? That is why you are not seeing that. But suppose you search for a product. Let's say you search for a product, right? You search for a product. Now let me clear all these. Let me clear all the previous entries, and now let me hit on search button. Okay, and now if you see that URL, you will have that payload, right? Yesterday I think we had discussed it yesterday, right? Payload is now. Request body is nothing but request payload, right? So you have payload over here, right? This is nothing but request body. Clear, guys? So a request consists of, request line, request headers, request body. Now, there are some important headers. What is the purpose of headers? First of all, let us understand what is the purpose of headers. Headers are used to pass additional information about the request. Request headers are used to pass any additional information about the request. Okay. 1 second, please. Let me pause recording for a moment. Now, what is the purpose of request headers? Headers are used to pass additional information about the request I had highlighted here, right? And now, what are the different headers? What are the important headers are highlighted? The important headers are highlighted here. Observe here. First important header is request method, which is get method. This one, right? Request method you saw somewhere, right? That 1 second, I'll do it again. Developer tools. Type Amazon.in. I'm sorry. You saw that header, right? If you go to Amazon.in, right? So you see that over here, request method is get method and request method is get method. This is one of the request headers. And then request time means at what time we made the request. And accept language EN-US. What does this mean?
18 localization. English language.
Right. So EN
Yes,
stands
English.
for English. US is EN is English. EN stands for or it represents English. US is country code, right? So we are. What is the meaning of this? We are saying, browser is saying to the server that my user can understand US English only. So please send the response in US English. That is what it means. Accept language means. Wonderful, right? But how does browser know that we can understand US English or Indian English? How does browser know?
settings are there in that app system.
Exactly. If you so when we install the operating system, or when you purchase a laptop, and if when they are installing operating system, right? So they will set these settings usually, right? If you go to if you go to settings, you can see that over there. You see the time and language. There is something called time and language. And if you see if you go to language and region, do you see that do you see that Windows display language is set to US English? Isn't it, guys? Your
Yes.
browser checks from these settings. Your browser checks from these language settings, and it is saying that my user can understand US English. So please send the response. I can accept the response in US English only. So now server sends the response in US English only, right? So this is one important request header. So it is sending some additional information about the request, right?
Yes.
And
Yes,
then
sir.
next one is accept, and then you have text or HTML application XHTML plus XML, etc. What does that mean is we are asking server to send the response in this format, text or HTML format, application or XHTML plus XML, etc. And recently, regarding this language, yesterday only I saw some news regarding these languages, guys. One application started supporting multiple languages, it seems. I think I thought of explaining you in the session, but I forgot that. Yesterday only I saw that one new feature is introduced into an existing application. I think what is that? Okay, if I remember it again, if I can recollect, I will explain it later. But most of the applications support international languages, right? See, for example, even if you go to Google page, right, you have an option to choose the language, isn't it? You have an option to choose the language, yes or no? Where do you have that option to choose the language?
Translate, I think.
Translate, but it is not showing here.
Uh,
Will it be
Settings.
there in this?
Yeah, maybe.
Translate, it is
you
disabled
are
here.
using sir Edge, maybe in
No, this is Chrome browser. 1 second, I'll check in Edge browser or some other browsers. So if you go to Google page, it used to display, right? The language options is below that search bar. Yeah, here it is. Do you see that here? Telugu, Marathi, Kannada, Tamil, and all this, right? So most of the applications are nowadays supporting international languages and different languages, right? And this feature is called as any application supporting international languages. And even Amazon also we have an option. I remember that we have an option in Amazon also. Do you have an option in Amazon? You see that over here. You can switch the language, right? You can switch the language from English to Telugu or Kannada or Malayalam, etc. Right? So this concept of supporting international languages or multiple languages or regional languages, that is called as any application, any software application supporting different languages is called as I18N. I18N. Why this is called as I18N is the full form of I18N is internationalization. Internationalization. And now why is internationalization called as I18N means, yesterday I told you one website to count the characters. What is that website? Anyone remember that?
character count
Charactercount.online.com, right? And now if you enter that word here, observe here, there are total 20 characters. And in between I and N, there are 18 characters, isn't it? So, for those lazy people who cannot pronounce it, they gave a shortcut. For all those lazy people who are lazy to pronounce that, they found a shortcut called I18N, because between I and N, there are 18 characters, isn't it? What is this concept? Any software application supporting national and regional languages, different languages, shall we call it as different languages, is called as internationalization. internationalization or 18. Okay. Why did we come here, by the way? Okay. So, like we have an option to like some applications will have, not some applications, most of the applications are having providing this language options, isn't it? So, so that your application will be, so if you choose Telugu, like everything will be translated to Telugu, isn't it? Right? And you see whole Amazon page in Telugu, isn't it? Of course, you can switch back, right? Anyways, now this is one of the important request header, right? Observe here, like that is what accept language means. And then accept text or HTML means the response can be sent in any of these formats. There are a lot of formats here. Observe here. There are a lot of formats: text or HTML, application XHTML plus XML, etc., etc. Application slash XML, etc., etc. Right? And then next important header is accept encoding. Accept encoding is ggip or deflator. Ggip deflator. Ggip comma deflator. Now, what is the meaning of this? If you remember yesterday's session, yesterday or day before yesterday, I had mentioned that when you send a request, you'll receive the response in the form of packets and they will be in zipped format. You remember that? Server will send the response in compressed format. And now browser is saying that I can accept only ggip format. Please send when you are, when you are compressing the response, please use ggip format. That is what your browser is saying to the server. That is the additional information that your browser is sending to the server, right? So that is what this header is, accept encoding is. This is another important header. And one more important header is user agent. User agent is nothing but a browser. User agent is nothing but browser. So in that user agent, it will tell you, which browser the user is using. Okay. User agent is nothing but the browser being used by by the user. Browser and version, right? Browser and its version being used by the user who is browsing the application. Now let us see where is that user agent and what is it, what is the user agent in our case, what is it showing here. Let us go to headers, go to request headers and see that user agent. Do you see that user agent over here? Mozilla 5.0 Windows NT app. There is a big string here. I'll copy that string and I'll paste it in the class notes document. Okay. So as an example, right? What is that user agent? Windows 5 Mozilla 5.0, Windows NT 10.0, Windows 64 x64. What does this indicate? This indicates your operating system, right? x64 and all this indicates your operating system. Right now the operating system that everyone of us is using is a 64-bit operating system. And then, see, observe here, Chrome 136. What is this one?
Chrome version.
Chrome
Right. So
version.
see, this is the Chrome browser, and if you see the version, where can I see the browser version?
Help.
Go to help, and if you go to help and use about Google Chrome, you see the browser version here as 136. That is what your browser is sending that information. That is the information that is the additional information that browser is sending to the server. That user is using Chrome 136. Clear, guys, everyone? So that information will be sent in a request header called user agent. This information will be sent in a request header called user agent. This one, right? I'll copy this one also. So this is the key and this is the value. Clear,
Sir,
guys, everyone? Yeah.
user agent is browser which we are using in the version.
Yes.
Then what is that Apple WebKit?
That I'm not aware of, to be honest with you.
No problem, sir.
I need to explore it. Okay, not so important, but I'm really, to be honest,
Then
I'm not aware
okay.
of.
So Chrome and Safari both are coming. I mean, both are different versions.
No,
The browser.
basically, I think Safari is also installed on my machine. It is showing that version, I think. Yeah, let me check. No, I think Safari is not there. Safari is not there. Safari is not there. Okay.
Sir, why this detailing we need to know each and every detailing what you said, like I mean how it will help in the detailing part?
First thing is like these concepts are important for interviews. Okay, in
Okay.
interviews they will ask you, can you explain request structure and response structure? Okay, let me write down the interview questions. Good question. Thanks for asking that. I missed it. So can you explain request structure and response structure? Can you explain request structure, HTTP as request structure and response structure? And one more thing is these are all fundamentals. If you know these fundamentals, tomorrow scripting will be easy for you. Next week, from next week onwards, you will understand why did we discuss all this.
Okay.
Can you explain request structure and response structure? Okay. So please wait till next week. You'll realize or you'll understand, why are we spending this much time on all these fundamental concepts. So if you understand these fundamental concepts, your scripting will be easy for you. Okay. Scripting or script debugging and all will be easy for you because, I'll show you one script for that matter. So whenever you record a script, I'll show you one JMeter script. Now itself, you will understand that, why are we discussing all these concepts. I don't want to make you wait till next week. Let me quickly show those. Let me quickly show all those. Okay. Let me open JMeter and I'll open one of the existing scripts or any tool for that matter, whether it is LoadRunner or JMeter. These concepts are important first. These fundamental concepts are important. Let me open one script and I'll show you like all those, headers, request headers and response headers and all those in the script. So that you'll get a fair idea, like why are we discussing this? First of all, these are important from interview perspective. These are fundamental concepts. Okay. And these are, we should know all these concepts for scripting. If you want, scripting will be easy for you if you know all these concepts. So this is, I'm launching JMeter. Similarly, I launched LoadRunner as well. Okay. There are some people who opted for LoadRunner also, right? So, and I'm planning to start LoadRunner from next week as a morning batch, guys, for your information. Those who are not doing any job, you can join in parallel if you want to complete the course faster. Okay. So I'll open one of the JMeter scripts and let me show you all those. So yeah, if you observe, this is one of the existing JMeter script, and these are your requests, right? You see here already I had explained that this is called as resource path, right? Server name, protocol is here, and then you have port number and request methods. These are the different request methods, isn't it? And then if you expand that, you have, see, observe here, you have those headers, all those headers here. User agent, accept encoding, accept language, right? Sometimes what happens is when you recorded a script, like I'll show you that we'll come across that scenario. When we record a script, some of the headers will be missing, right? At that time, you should have a clarity on what is the importance of headers, right? Is it clear? These are all request headers. Whatever you see in the script, these are all request headers, isn't it? See, these are all request headers. Accept language, accept encoding, user agent. These are all important request headers, right? And now similarly, I'll show you one JMeter script also. Sorry, I'll show you one LoadRunner script as well. So if you observe here, I'll select the main request. This is the main request. And if you select that main request, when you are developing the script, right, you'll be going to snapshots. There, if you see there, you see here HTTP data. This is page view. This is the page view that you see in the browser. Let it be loaded. See, this is the page view. Okay. Now, if you see HTTP data view, and you see here, you have all the request headers here. On the left side, you have request headers. On the right side, you have response headers.
So it fetches from the website.
Right? Do you see that? Yes. When we recorded the script, right, it will your tool will record all the traffic, all the request and response data, or all the traffic traveling to and fro from the browser and server. And you see these are request headers. You see that these are request headers. These are response headers. Under headers tab, I am under headers tab, and this is response body. Right? Similarly, if you want to see the request, you can see the request body also. Like let me select one of the requests. If you select one of the requests, you can see the request body, which whatever is having some request body, you can see that over there. So scripting will be cakewalk for you if you learn these concepts very well. If you learn, if you understand, if you are able to assimilate all this, you can see that request body here, right? You can see the request body over here, isn't it? And headers also.
Sir,
So
that gzip, deflate, br, zstd, 4 are there.
Those are some latest encoding methods. We'll discuss that in detail. Okay, going forward, right? So now I'll go to the PPT. Yeah. So this is about request headers, and then you have request body. That is the last part, or that is the third part in a request HTTP or HTTPS request. What does request body contain? Request body tries to send any additional information required by the server to process the current request properly. See, for example, if you remember yesterday when we logged into the application, demo application, username and password are sent in the request body, right? You
Yes.
remember that in the request body
Payload.
or payload? We saw that in the payload. We saw that in payload tab of developer tools, right? There I told that payload is not request payload is nothing but request body, isn't it? So what does request body contain? It will contain any additional information. Wait, let me first show that. Here it is. Request payload is nothing but request body. Now you can Google search. Okay. Yesterday someone asked me like, I explained about I'm happy with that. Like you can that is very good thinking actually. You should know whether whatever you are learning is correct or not. Someone asked me when I explained about like request response cycle. Someone asked that will all these steps really happen from the moment we are sending request because it is getting completed in milliseconds, right? We had an interesting discussion yesterday. Please don't miss those who missed yesterday's session. Please watch it, particularly the last 5-10 minutes. Okay. Now, why are we here? Where are we here?
Body.
Yeah, request payload. Okay, what is what is request payload? If you Google search what is request payload, you'll read that. Okay, right? Do you see that request payload refers to the data sent in the body of the request message? That is nothing but request body, isn't it? So now I made a statement here saying that this request body contain additional information required by the server to process the current request properly. If you remember, when we are entering the credentials, when we are trying to log into the application, that username and password is going into the request body to the server, isn't it? And that information is required to process your login request, isn't it? That is what it is explained here. Any additional information required by the server to process your current request will be sent in the request body. Clear, everyone? If it is a GET request, it will be sent in the request URL. But if it is a POST request, it will be sent in the request body. That is a different story. Okay. So we'll stop it here, guys, for today. Let everyone assimilate these concepts. Tomorrow we'll discuss response structure. Okay. And then we'll have some more concepts, guys. I thought that we can complete this by this Friday, but we have some more basic concepts that we need to discuss. And then I'll be starting tool from Wednesday or Thursday. Okay. So Monday and Tuesday sessions also will be on performance testing fundamentals only. All right.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. And please note that uh, most of the other training institutes don't spend this much time on performance testing fundamentals. They will start the tool on second day or third day. Okay. You go anywhere throughout India or abroad. So they will start the tool in second day or third day or fourth day max. But we are one of the very few who cover or who spend this much time on performance testing fundamentals, around 15 to 20 hours actually, right? And then only I'll start the tool, and that is how our students are able to crack interviews on their own. For example, like yesterday or let me pause recording. I want to show you some people. Some people ping me like they got an offer, and like 1 second, there is some confidential information. Let me pause recording. Like you'll have class notes document and daily assessment, right? In the first 5-10 minutes I'm asking you some questions, so that everyone will be focused, because that is important for online training, right? So I need your complete attention. I have to make sure that you are paying complete attention here. And then we'll have assignments, regular assignments, and that is how our students are able to crack interview on their own even by claiming 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of experience after the training, of course, right? So after the training, after this, this intensive and in-depth real-time training of 100 hours for each tool, right? So with this, I will stop it here, guys, for today. Let me update the tracker sheet. Where is our tracker sheet? So these are done. Post, put, delete, patch are done, and only request structure is completed today. Tomorrow we'll discuss HTTP response structure. All right, guys. Any queries before we close today's session? So next session we'll have our next session on Monday. Okay. So initially, till we start the tool, I will not take session on Saturday. But please remember, once we start the tool, I will be taking Saturday session also. Okay.
Okay,
Sir,
sir.
Google
Because
Class
enrollments are still going on. Huh?
Google Classroom access by end of
Yeah,
this
I'll provide
month.
all the access to those. I'll fix those access issues and all. Today or tomorrow, I'll fix all those. I'll provide all the required access and all.
And also provide that fundamentals documents. It will
Sure.
be
Yes.
helpful to read and we can see.
Definitely. You need to, please, those who want to go through the recorded sessions, and class notes over the weekend, I'll provide it by EOD or tomorrow morning.
Sir, I had called you that day because I was upgrading my RAM. So
Oh,
now it's 9 GB is there. But how much LoadRunner and
9
JMeter
GB,
will 9 GB 16 GB total I upgraded from 8 to 16 GB.
8 to 16. Okay.
So how much it will require means LoadRunner and JMeter?
Now 16 GB is good enough. I'm also having 16 GB RAM only. Okay. My system is also having 16 GB RAM only. So 16 GB
3
is
GB.
good enough.
Means available 3 GB that I was asking.
I'm having only 3 GB available, 3.3 GB available because I have installed multiple applications. So I think MySQL and all are running in the background. There are some programs will be running in the background also, right? So that is why like you are saying, and moreover, I'm using Zoom meeting, right? Zoom meeting consumes significantly higher memory.
Okay.
Okay. Now Chrome is taking maximum memory. If you observe here, Chrome is taking around 3 GB of RAM, isn't it? Right? I hope everyone is familiar with this task manager. Everyone should know this, those who, if you want to be successful in performance testing career, so you should be strong in these fundamental concepts. How to check CPU utilization, memory utilization, disk utilization, network utilization, right? And all this. Okay. So please go through the recorded sessions. Like those who missed the initial sessions, please go through them. Please complete all of those sessions on this weekend. Okay. If you want to continue in this batch, those who already paid, yes, I'm sure that you might have already started. You should have already started. But those who did not confirm their joining it, if you want to continue in this batch, so please complete all those recorded sessions by this weekend. Okay. By Monday evening, you have 3 days. All right. All right then. So have a nice weekend. I'm passing the recording. Any queries, guys, before we close today's session? Okay, I'll take your silence as no.